just wanted to do testimony. And Jeff's sitting in my office, and we're having that discussion, and I'm getting his testimony. And he said, well, I came to Christ, but I've not been baptized after that event. Isn't that right? But you were baptized before it, but you actually hadn't come to Christ in that event. And here's why I want to pick on him and use this example, because it is a perfect picture of obedience. When I brought to him what the Bible says about baptism, about the sequence of baptism, the first thing he said was, well, I didn't know that. I guess I need to get baptized. That's just obedience. I just love that. So sorry for picking on you, Jeff. But we baptized him down at the Gulf this summer.
Got her done.
Got her done. Okay. Placement. I'm sorry. Was there a question? Okay. Placement of connection cards. When you fill out a connection card, or sometimes people will just bring you a card because they didn't get it in an offering plate. They just want to drop it by. In each cabinet, and if you're new to us and you're going to be a part of it, come look at this tonight. Get yourself familiar with it. There's a door back here. There's 3 drawers. In the top drawer is a blue folder. In that blue folder, just slip that card in there. And any other message that for whatever reason you need to relay to us. If something happened and John David needs to know about it, just write me a note, put it in there, it'll get to me. Okay, and those cards, connection cards, are always out here. They're always sitting on this top, and they're in that cabinet that I just told you about. Okay, BLG pieces, info pieces, and iPads. There are 2 ways that we talk to people about Bible and Life groups. This is a new piece that Rhonda just produced for us. It's a little bit more of a scaled down piece. The old one that we had was the big one. You remember I don't know, when was it, Rhonda, 4 months ago? Mm-hmm. We went from the first word being that big piece to the smaller piece. Well, we wanted to match the BLG piece with this. But this has all of the BLG information that we have going on at church in this piece. And this is what you want to put in someone's hand. Okay, you want to put it here. There'll be stacks of these here. Now, iPads are always up here. Don't be afraid of the iPad. They're really pretty cool. And in as much time as it takes you to go through this piece, you can actually look on this piece if you're just familiar with it. And you can go straight to Saturday night. BLG's right here. You can scroll up. And guess what? You got pictures of everybody. So if you say to someone, okay, you want to go to Jim Evans' class on Saturday night. Well, there's Jim Evans' handsome mug right there. And you pop on that, and it should do something, and it's not. And well, let's look at Troy Marigold. Well, look at that, Troy Marigold. He's a handsome dude there. We've only got half his face. So obviously, Rhonda and I are going to be working on this in the next couple of days, but to where you can be able to pop on that. And here's the reason for that. Here's the reason for that. Because when you send someone to a class, and it's Jim Evans' class, it's so much more reassuring if I know who the guy is. If I visually see his face, I know who I'm looking for. And people feel a whole lot, oh, there we go. There's Troy right there. So that's who you're looking for. So people are a whole lot more confident when they walk in a room of people they don't know and have never seen before, if in fact they've seen them and they know who to look for. So please, when you get here early, a few minutes early, just take time, pick this thing up and get familiar with it. They're not scary. They're actually pretty easy. And I'm not an electronics guy. And I've got an iPad and I can actually use it. It's weird, but I haven't mastered it or anything like that, but I can use it. In fact, Rhonda's on it right there, video.
Let me just make a comment about the iPads too. These are strictly for the use in the connection point. So don't think you're going to get on there and get off on some weird website or get locked somewhere out. It won't do anything but go to the connection point information. That's all it'll do.
And someone can steal those things.
They're going to be right on top right there. You'll see, they're right on top of the things.
Okay, next thing, complaints need to go immediately to pastoral staff. And here's what I mean by complaints. You guys don't get paid enough to take guff with folks. Not at this place. I get paid to take guff with folks. So if someone comes up, and I don't know that this has happened, I really don't. It may have, and if you've got a story of where it's happened to you, let me know about it. But if someone comes up and starts complaining about, well, I didn't agree with what Dr. Wicker said, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and so Todd Stearns, he played a song that was just terrible. Theologically, it was da-da-da-da-da. Put a smile on your face and say, those are all wonderful concerns. Let me get one of our pastoral staff. I'm sure they'd love to hear it. Okay? Again, you don't get paid enough to have to deal with that. Has anyone that's a worker, has anyone got any of that since Don, have you?
Very little bit occasionally, and you just try to shift it.
Yeah, shift it, and if that doesn't work, again, don't try to fix it.
Nope.
You turn that over to us because we want to be the ones responsible for that.
Yeah, I've had a couple of different ones of complaints about this and that, about somebody standing up out here because they're watching it out here and all that stuff. So I go and they say, well, they shouldn't be talking or nothing like that out here at all. So I just get the security when I can't get a pastoral.
Next item there, I've given you my cell phone. Honestly, I don't mind if you put that in your contacts, have that, because you will see me in between services pop in here, stand here next to you, and then you will see me disappear. A lot of times I have to be in the 9:30 service, or during our BLG times. When I leave here, I make rounds. I go down the hall and I stick my head into all our BLG classes, and then I head over to the high school ministry and I pop in there in middle school, and then I come back around and I'll hit preschool and children. So I'm not here. I'm on campus, I'm just not here. But if something crazy goofy comes up and you can't find someone, you got my number. And so feel free to use that if something really crazy comes up.
And text, okay.
Text me's great. You know what though, Jim? If you do it, I'm probably not going to have your name in my contacts. So let me know who you are, because that really does help me.
John, just to put a word in too, I've watched you in action, and when we're standing there greeting and meeting people, somebody will naturally go to him if they can. And I've seen him do it more times than once. He said, well, just go over and talk to those people there. They will take your information and so forth. So he's not out here to take it away from you. In fact, he shifts it maybe too quick. I don't know.
That's right. Oh, by the way, Don here makes up, he is the primary, he's the president, CEO, whatever, of our welcome team. He's a team of one. But what he does is he follows up on all of our folks who have joined the church. And he's got this system down of calling them, not immediately, sometimes 2 or 3 weeks after they've joined, just to kind of get their head from stop spinning. And he'll introduce himself, talk to them about the church. Are there any questions about the church that I can answer for you? Have you found a Bible and life group class yet? He explains to them that if you're, as new members, you're going to get sent some offering envelopes. And so he just wants to preempt that so they just don't get it cold in the mail and say, why did I get this? He talks to them about that. And then about 3 months later, it's not exact, but 3 or 4 months later, he calls them back, does a follow-up with them, and says, hey, this is Don, I talked to you a few months ago, just wanted to make sure that you're getting plugged in, that you are feeling like you're becoming part of the family. And that is invaluable. So Don, thank you for doing that. Okay, your personality and demeanor are everything. I alluded to it at the first. We all come in at different points. Something's gone wrong in the parking lot before we came in. We got a crazy call from our crazy aunt. I don't know what it is, but sometimes we come in with a smile on our face, and sometimes deep down we're thinking, why am I here? I don't really want to be here. I get that. Again, that's called life. But when we come to the connection point, if we need to get alone for just a minute, say a little prayer to get happy, whatever we need to do, we need to do that. Because when we're here, we have to have a pleasant, welcoming demeanor. We have to have that kind of smile that just says, come talk to me, I want to answer your question. We've got to have that tone in our voice. We just have to have that idea of hospitality. And I don't think that you would be here if you didn't have that. Because the Spirit probably testified within you when you first got the call a year ago or got it a few weeks ago in the service that this is something that you would like to do. And so I know that you have that, but if you're like me, there are moments that it just isn't coming naturally. But you just have to kind of force yourself to do it. And so, in fact, what do they call it? Put your game face on. So put your game face on when you're here. Scheduling. Rhonda right back here. I hope you all know Rhonda. Rhonda, how many years? 18?
17, 18.
17, 18 years Rhonda's been here and worked at First Baptist, and I couldn't get along without her. But she handles all of our scheduling. And so what you're going to find right over here on the big desk over here in the center are sign-up times for when you can help. All right, now let me tell you when those times are that we need help. We need a little bit of help on Saturday nights. Hugh, right here, is typically here every Saturday night. You don't get a whole lot of business early. You get some, but then after the worship service on Saturday night is when most people gravitate to here. So we need some help before. We need a lot of help after. That really is go time. It is after. Because they've just been in the service, they've just heard about it, they've come this direction. On Sunday mornings, in between or before the 9:30 service, Whitey, you're usually here before 9:30, aren't you?
Yes.
Doesn't get a lot of traffic, not a lot of traffic at that time, but after the 9:30 service and in between the 11 o'clock service, that's huge go time. That's when we get a lot of traffic here. And then we actually get a lot of traffic as well after the 11 o'clock chapel service. Because by and large, that service is really one of our larger services for visitors. And it's really becoming that. And in fact, I didn't mention this earlier, but there have been weeks in this past year that there were more connection cards collected from this area than were collected in all the worship services combined. There's been a few Sundays that, because we track that. Where do the cards come in? So it's just more and more, I guess, just a cultural phenomenon, church cultural phenomenon, I don't know. That people, they don't come forward in church as much as if you've been a long time church member, they just don't come, they don't feel comfortable as much, but they'll come to us afterwards. And a lot of times they come to this place afterwards. So that's just kind of an interesting note on the cards there. Those are our times of when we need your help. You'll get signed up over there of when you can come in, and then Rhonda will be the one that sets the schedule. She'll have your email, she'll set the schedule, send it out to you. And here's one thing I want to ask of you. If you're not going to be here, don't get a substitute on your own. Let Rhonda be the substitute person. So if you know it, you go to Rhonda and she'll figure that out. I'm sorry, yes?
Do you know what Sign Up Genius is, and have you used that at all? Is that like an online scheduling?
Sign Up Genius?
Yeah, you've never heard of it?
Mm-mm.
Okay, because all the schools use it for volunteering now, and it's like, open up like a whole new world, because you just like, when you have some time, you just click on it and say, oh, okay, and then you just sign up. You don't, it's not like a million calls or emails back and forth.
That's genius.
That is genius.
Well,
Let's look into that.
She loves Genius. So tomorrow, when she comes in, she's going to look at Sign Up Genius.
I've had her.
John Davis,
Yes, ma'am.
if you're already signed up for the time slot, you need to re-sign up.
You know what? That's a good question. If you're already signed up in a time slot, do you need to sign up again? Would y'all mind to do that? I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind. Just sign up again tonight, if you wouldn't mind. That'll just help. Just make sure. Would that be helpful?
I don't think I need it, but,
Okay,
you know.
I don't think that'll be helpful at all.
Thank you. I was gonna say, why? You want me to see our names again?
Yeah.
This is my very first
If we don't
time
need
in
to.
No.
Connection Point. Wondering if we're gonna have name tags
Y'all,